Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in. I'm Rashmi from Great HR and today's moderator of the session. Before I begin with anything else, once again, a warm welcome to one and all. And thank you for joining in again to our 37th Ask the Expert webinar, Parichay. And as you all know, the webinar topic for today is importance of AI and big data in HR. Well, before I begin into the topic and dive deep into it, let's do a little housekeeping on how the session goes. So, as usual, the session is divided into two parts. Where the first part we will have a discussion with our today's expert, Mr. Sanjeeb, which will then be followed by audience Q&A. So, audience Q&A is where I can say time is all yours, dear participants, because that's when you can start putting across all your questions based on the discussion what we would have had so far and also the topic. All right. And also, if you're worried about missing out on any part of our today's session, not to worry at all. Sit back, relax, because currently we are recording this session and the same will be shared with all of you once this session is done. Now, all right. But Rashmi, what about today's topic? So here it is, friends. So what I feel is the overnight changes the pandemic brought to work life over 2 years ago would have been a lot more difficult if not for digital tools, right? Like using people analytics, artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning in HR functions can bring about positive change, but only if employees cultivate the right approach for their organization, right? So this is what I feel about the topic. So what we'll do is in the next 1 hour, we are going to discuss this in detail with our expert, Mr. Sanjeev Lahiri, and understand about the significance of AI and big data in HR in this ever evolving world. Well, to tell you a little bit about Mr. Sanjeev, you might have already be familiar with Mr. Sanjeev here, but I would still like to give you details on Mr. Sanjeev's profile. So, Mr. Sanjeev Lahiri is the Chief Human Resources Officer at GRP Limited. He has over 23 plus years of professional experience at a global level in information and communications technology, trading, distribution, manufacturing and holding companies, including startups. Not just that, he is skilled in talent acquisition, staffing, compensation and benefits, talent management, learning and development, counseling, assessment and development centers, change management, employee industrial relations, communication, business excellence, merger and acquisitions, and greenfield projects or startups businesses in a global environment. He has postgraduate qualifications in human resources, marketing management, and training and development, with a proven track record in formulating and managing people strategies and practices of organization, which also include startup businesses in India, Europe, Asia, and Africa. So, Mr. Sanjeev, we are very much delighted to have you here in the session. Welcome to the session again.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.
All right, so dear participants, like I already said, we are now heading into the first part of our session, that is the discussion about our today's topic. So, Mr. Sanjeev, my first question, well, to start off with, please help us understand how technology is changing people's behavior and process in the work world today.
Okay. Thanks so much, Rashmi and Yegreti. It's always such a pleasure to come back to Parichay. Just to answer your question, let me ask you a question. How many times do we go and visit a bank today? A bank means a bank, not only the ATM. We must have forgot the last time we went there, right? So that's exactly what is happening in the work world. Now, I'm sure that I'm talking to an organization which is essentially a technology organization, where I've spent one part of my life in technology organizations. However, the other part of my life is into manufacturing, right? when we talk of technology, the very basic things of not signing on the attendance book, but maybe just flashing the flash card, the what do you call it, the access card, or maybe your face itself is a development. I think it has been COVID or no COVID. The process had already started earlier on. For the HR function, it has, I will definitely say, it has been a big move post COVID, during COVID and post COVID, to have adopted uh, technologies. Our talking today itself is based on some kind of technology that absolutely sprung up post COVID, right? Uh, Across the world, across functions, whereas there has been acceptance of technology in some form to make work easier, to make, I mean, the key contribution of technology today at our work lives, and this is organization agnostic, has been towards the business decision making. And I think the topic of today, therefore, is absolutely, I mean, pertinent to that. So definitely technology has changed the way we were, and I mean, it is evolving every day.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Sanjeev. So yeah, I think everything we need today should be on our fingertips. If you ask me to go somewhere like a bank thing, you ask me, I would find it cumbersome. Like the whole world is advanced so much, and you're still asking me to go to a bank. I would maybe probably blast at customer support for this. Yeah, so that's the change it has brought in. So thank you for bringing this up, Mr. Sanjeev. So I think this has set a wonderful a base to our discussion now. So I'll come to our main question, Mr. Sanjeev. Now, in fact, I personally like this a question a lot. So the question is, how does artificial intelligence and big data help in overcoming HR challenges?
Okay. Um, See, I have a pun here. Just pardon me for that. Artificial intelligence does not mean not using our natural intelligence. Okay, but at the same time, okay, puns aside, artificial intelligence is, I think, once again a very big boon in the space of the people services, if I may, and added to big data. The big data terms itself means a lot of data, right? Uh, but let me just take a quick pause over here. Decision making is always based on facts, right? And what can be more um, representative of facts is data, right? While we were dependent upon our Excel sheets. Yeah, I'm trying to address the big data first. I will come to artificial. While, I mean, as long as we were dependent upon our Excel sheets, I think it was too cumbersome to capture, exactly what is, I mean, what is happening. I mean, say for example, some changes in the people dynamics, some changes in people dynamics leading to some business results. It was extremely cumbersome to gather all these kind of dashboards, metrics, analyze them, and get to a meaningful decision. Yep. Big data has made that job very easy. At least today we have technology which throws us trends, which gives us, regressions or whatever it is. I'm trying not to use jargons as much, but I mean, to give us something, saying that it is like this. Today you do one blood test, and you see quite a few parameters which we had not seen before, which actually tells, okay, there may be something deep inside. It may not always be on the surface, right? So that is the simile that I look at what big data can do or is doing to the functions today. I think big data is helping HR to live up its contribution to the business, which somehow we used to miss out because of the entire cumbersome and the skills that we needed to do that. Artificial intelligence, on the other hand, is all about, it's primarily about prediction and coding. When I say this with a lot of, I mean, with some conditions apply. At least it can give us So two things are happening. One is artificial intelligence has made a lot of transactions very, very easy on the fingertips. Yep. I mean the bots or the virtual chats which are based on artificial intelligence can actually, I mean, give answers to people on their very basic queries right there. You just only need a system and to either select the right option, you get your answer. As simple as that. What has it meant for the HR profession? I'm sure for the HR professionals, it definitely lives out a considerable amount of valuable work time for where they can actually do something more meaningful. Yep. Uh, Artificial intelligence trends helps us in decision making. A lot of times, look at recruitment for say. Yep. Wherever people had to actually sit down and screen through hundreds of CVs, that work is done now in seconds. So definitely, I think these are the two main. I mean, we'll go deep during our conversation, but I'm sure these two technologies have already made. But once again, very early days. There are a lot more to come by effective usage of these technologies in the people function, which I think is going to definitely make the people practitioners, the HR professionals, much more contributable to the business. What they actually need to be, not just run operations.
Sure, Mr. Sanjeev. And not just that, I think pandemic did play a major role in accelerating the way HR has transformed today, right? Because gone are the days when we would only do physical interviews, correct? So I think right now with virtual hiring and onboarding, technology has been the real game changer here. This is what I feel. So, Mr. Sanjeev, what do you think? How AI has helped in the hiring and the onboarding process for the organizations?
Yep, as you rightly said, that see, one thing we must understand that the people processes are not necessarily HR processes, right? The physical interviews was only the HR professional doing the physical interview? No, the entire organization was doing, right? Uh, was only the HR okay? One of the jobs that the HR person would have probably done is to handle the hiring, the onboarding process much in a physical mode than anything else. Today, jobs being global, uh, it is become much more location agnostic for where the person is and to do it. And more importantly, is to ensure the same kind of experience. See, this is the world of employee experience when we talk of, right? You and I both would expect certain things, said or unsaid, at work, right? What is to happen is, so for example, an onboarding session is happening, and say the HR person is busy with something else, the person actually will not do justice to that session, right? It's physically not possible. What does AI do? It has everything in it in that format, yeah, including some very basic question answers. So from an employee, from a new employee perspective, I'm talking onboarding, whatever information the person needs to go through, it is already there on the platter. In the same way, everybody gets the same kind of quote unquote treatment, no discrimination. Therefore, makes the session much more productive, if I may. Uh, um, Now, so the person already knows quite a few things, and the person can go back and refer to. Now, was this not happening before AI, before the so-called AI became a, the cliche term? Yes, it was happening. Yeah, but however, it was not happening. Hiring also number of interviews. Yeah, today I know a lot of organizations. Even I experimented that in my organization also. There is no screening interview at all. The screening interview is actually, so basically along with the CV, I get a, say, a 5 minutes video clip of the person, some very basic questions which I would have anyway asked. Imagine how much time would have been saved. Forget everything else. How much time of the person who was doing the screening interview has actually changed, and now I know. So I mean, so the person that the candidate who will go to the next round, it's already decided in what? I have 5 candidates, 25 minutes over, right? I have already made my decision. And if I am using some more algorithms over there, I have a system to tell me who can be the best suited. Here I will pause and say, I used the term conditions apply a little, I mean, just a couple of seconds ago. Conditions apply is who is making the decision of the hiring, because the decision of the hiring cannot be done by AI. There we tend to lose out on the human aspect if we are letting AI telling me person X is selected. I think that is still going to be a management decision, and it must be that. Have I answered you?
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Sanjeev. Also, Mr. Sanjeev, this actually raises another thing in my mind. It's about data, right? So today it's all about data, and in fact, it goes to an extent that we have been hearing this data is the new oil today, right? So, in your opinion, how can data analytics help in making better decisions in the HR world today?
Well, it goes on. Oh, I'm forgetting. I'm really getting old. Maybe there's a very famous quote. I forgot. I think it is a Jack Welch quote. In God we trust. The rest is data. Yep, that is it. Now the look. Why does HR exist? If I have to go back up there, what is the role of HR? Fun Fridays are fine and fun. Hiring is also good. However, I think the HR function, people professionals like us, we exist to ensure that an organization or the business achieves its objectives. The value we add is because we understand people a little more. Yeah. If I keep that in mind, I'm sure that HR as a function and each and every human resource professional has a big role to play in the organizational decision making based on whichever level of the organization they are, right? How do you make meaningful decisions? Data or a hunch? Hunch doesn't work. A lot of times, and it in my growing up, in my professionally growing up years, a lot of times we used to actually say, I think our people like this. And management is to say, get lost. But we didn't have data to actually show. We might have, our hunch might have been right, right? We might have understood the pulse of people, but how do I prove it? Then there, I think this entire data and analysis plays a big role. With technology being there, when Excel came in, I'm sure ages ago, Excel was such a big lifesaver for us. I'm talking of myself in my, again, my pretty early in my career, that you have to go and make your policy, or you have to go and push some of your proposals. Just do a quick dipstick somewhere. Those days, paper forms. Yeah. Put it in Excel. Just show some of the data. Yeah. Or other, get some market information, put it as data, show the trends. There's a much more acceptance from the management, therefore, to be accepting these decisions, which is backed by data. And no function can actually take any meaningful decision without data, and that is where technology actually comes to help. The I'm sure the HR profession across the world has understood this, and we are in that direction to be adopting, or rather, to be honing our skills, and definitely technology is going to help.
Sure, Mr. Sanjeev. Also, Mr. Sanjeev, with this, do you think the technology will help us in building the gap of the skills now, like in any organization?
It would, if you look at, see, once again, it is based on data and what we are capturing. We So the performance management as a system has been in vogue since time immemorial, right? What we used to do with that data is important. We knew, yeah. So generally, more often than not, the process, it used to be used for some people decisions, yeah. It used to be used for general, wage, salary, revisions, and and so on and so forth. If we then look at if there is somebody, or say a particular business, or say somebody who has been moved from business A to business B, the performance level has gone up or dipped. Yep. What can be the reason? Now, I think if you look at the skill gaps, here comes once again, here comes the use of data. The data was there, we never looked at it. However, with being a little more mindful of what we need, yeah. If if the wise now, I also know that some of us fall in this trap at times of just gathering a lot of information, right? However, I think if you're able to be mindful of why we are gathering what we are gathering, it becomes more, it becomes, life becomes a little easy to be able to then identify this. So a performance score, little deep down, maybe towards the competencies, maybe towards the achievement of the targets, KRAs, I mean, if that in some time we can look at some parts of the KRAs are being met easily, some parts are not being met. Look at that. Why it is being met easily? Is the person skilled enough? If we are able to have the information, connect the dots, we have our story. And that is where effective use of data can actually bridge the skill gaps that an organization would need.
Sure. So, Mr. Sanjeev, in that case, please allow me to dig deeper into this. What do you think? How does AI help in carrying out various training and development activities?
Uh, okay. Training activities has definitely three parts at a very, very broad level: identifying the need, execution of the training, and then getting the feedback. And I think AI can play a big role in all these three buckets. Yeah. Identifying the need, the moment, if we have, once again, if we have the data of what we need to train on, targets, job roles, skills required in the job role for that matter, um, competences to be displayed. We have the data. Appraisals are one of the very basic forms in which we have all this data, right? AI can help us to give a meaningful suggestion. I'm not saying solution, because to choose a solution is onto us. That is where the management intervention comes in. But AI can suggest Sanjeev needs ABCD, maybe. Yeah. Now, how to execute those can also be based on the system. AI can actually tell, okay, if Sanjeev needs ABCD, maybe C needs to come in this. So, how to prioritize that. AI can actually monitor if Sanjeev has gone and taken the course, and if Sanjeev has taken the course, what has been Sanjeev's engagement during the course? What has been Sanjeev's assessment during the course? Yeah, and thereafter, once again, we can have the data in terms of has performance changed post that. The entire cycle can be run by AI. Yes, you have to write the codes appropriately. That is important, but so some things like, I mean, a thing as powerful as AI can definitely make, once again, the job much, much easier. The entire legwork of running training, I know about organizations where, I mean, even I have done it. Man, you have a training now, please go and attend. Oh no, I am busy. That thing will go now. If you're able to use technology effectively. If you have to do it, you better do it. And do it at your time, no problem. I hope I've answered you.
Yes, yes. So, whatever it is, just learning doesn't stop. That's all you're
No,
trying to say, Mr.
no,
Sanjeev. Yes,
no, and
thank
no, yeah, and the entire activity, the entire effort is much, much lesser by using technology.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjeev. While we talk about this, I'll just come to our next question. Overall well being of employees have actually become increasingly important for the organizations, especially after the pandemic, right? So, it is essential to create a workplace which is rich in DIEB and psychologically safe. Right. So, according to you, what role does big data play in implementing these DEIB strategies?
See, once again, it is all about big data is all about data. AI in particular is more about getting things done. Yeah, and both can be integrated. Absolutely, it can be integrated. The big data, using big data, using technologies based on big data is definitely going to give us lot more insights in terms of what is happening in our space. Say, if we have DEI targets, right? And I'm saying DI or DIB for that matter. If the organization has taken certain targets, right? But the organization does not have any wherewithal to maintain information about are we on the right track, then once again it is a hunch. Yes, we have done enough, and once we are saying we have done enough, we have we only focus on the efforts that we have taken in that space. How much uh, fruit the efforts have yielded comes in from, once again, comes in from technology, which is big data in this case. Big data allows us to also look at quite a few subtle things. For example, say there has been a DIB intervention somewhere, and say the business's results have suddenly changed, whichever way. Yeah. Till such time, at least big data will help us to correlate that. When we were trying to do, okay, ye bhi data lena hai, sorry, I skipped on the language. So basically, so take data point A, see, look at data point X, and then try to find a data point Z, we will tend to lose out. However, if we are seeing this entire story, and big data is all about putting everything together and then telling us, showing us those trends, how to interpret those trends, that is on to us. I'm sure that the entire DIB movement can be very well supported by A, what to do, once again data, and B, what has been the impact. Yeah, data again. I'm sure it is going to be much more stronger if we are using a data-based approach, and things like big data is definitely helping there.
Sure, Mr. Sanjeev. And also, dear attendees, the ones who are wondering what are we talking about DIP, so I'll just tell you in brief. So I'm sure many of you are already aware of this. DIB stands for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. In fact, these are the pillar of businesses today and the HR world, I can say, right? So yeah, Mr. Sanjeev, I think you have beautifully put it across here. Thank you so much for bringing it up again. So I'll move on to the next question. So like you are already saying, whether it's COVID or no COVID, a lot of aspects in the HR world have changed today, right? So one of the very important aspect is employee engagement. Right. So, could you please throw some light on how this employee engagement will always be an important consideration and how it has evolved over last 2 years?
Okay, let me define, or at least not a theoretical definition, but my understanding of employee engagement, because I know this term is probably one of the most abused, within inverted commas, terms, in the, at least in the corporate world, more importantly for the people profession. Friends, please understand, when I'm using the term employee engagement, I am not meaning fun at work. Fun at work is important. However, employee engagement is a situation where the employees, each one of us, are contributing much beyond our job descriptions, and we are doing it willingly for the organization. That is where the real change comes. Now, uh, any organization can move further when this discretionary effort comes in. Yeah. If I have to say finish a project today, and I'm looking at my watch. Oh, Friday, it is 4:30, 5 o'clock. I shut up, come what may. Am I engaged? May not be. I am working to the rules, right? It's like that. Organizations will get stuck there. I go back to where I started the conversation with. The purpose of the people function for any organization is to ensure that the organization is successful within inverted commas through its people. Yeah. So if people are contributing enough, if people are contributing towards the growth of an organization, then only the organization moves forward. Otherwise, it is a day-to-day job. It gets into the transaction mode. List of activities come, go. You will not see organizations grow in that way. Yeah, and that makes employee engagement. So when do employees give that discretionary effort? Definitely when they are engaged. And when do they get engaged? Not only because of the quote unquote fun at work things. There's a lot of things that needs to happen, right? Starts from the organization's purpose, communication, processes, structures, policies, and so on and so forth, right? So employee engagement therefore is one of the key pillars, not only for the people function. Yes, we own it up at times, but I think it is one of the key pillars for any organization to succeed. That is its importance. And what helps it? Once again, meaningful decisions. Where does that come from? Our topic today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Sanjeev. Also, Mr. Sanjeev, could you please share some insights on some of the tech tools that you have come across and that you'd recommend the HR leaders to use for tracking various tasks, may it be performance management or success rate of different initiatives, something like that?
See, there are plenty of tools that are available, Rashmi, today in the markets. I will not name a product per se as such. However, there are quite a few things. Okay, so if I have to just answer it very simply, if you have checked, I think there was a Gartner report that came out October or early November this year, which talks about the very currently most used tech solutions as such. Yeah. Now, I think Gartner had spoken about five or six trends, and if I can just, rather speak about those very very briefly and in random order. So the entire transactions, the entire employee experience, or for that matter, that can be enhanced by using the the virtual assistants, a lot of bots, a lot of self-help things. Yeah, and bots are essentially AI based solutions. Yeah, the entire talent piece, there are plenty of solutions available that side. Performance management, L&D. Yeah, uh, rightly starting from your recruitment assessments to onboarding to assess to appraisals, following up by the learning management solutions, plenty of them available. Um, then comes on to the matters like the employee productivity. So agile based solutions or processes. Yeah. um, which also would include decisions of the jobs that would need to be within the organization, the jobs that can remain outside the organization. Once again, usage of technology. Like if I take the simplest one, payroll. How many organizations today across the country, forget the world, run payroll internally? It is a clockwork thing, right? And so there are plenty of organizations who are doing a very good job over this. So therefore, if this service is available, payroll is one. Okay, compliance is the other, right? Does the organization spend its bandwidth to handle compliance? It does not need to today. There are enough and more pretty good, partners available and solutions available towards the DEI we just spoke. Yep. Coming to data, big data, blockchain, I think it's coming up in a big way. Early days, but I'm sure the organizations have started using blockchain as a technology for entire organizations business analysis and decision making process, and then coming up with the whole experiential part of AR VR, things like Metaverse, once again, going viral in the tech space, going viral in the community. Once again, very early days, but I'm sure we are up for some very exciting times when they actually get implemented. So I think these are some of the pillars that I am seeing available. I don't want to name any product that side. However, there are plenty of products available in the market. Most importantly, this is the direction I think where the world is moving.
Sure, Mr. Sanjeev. So while we continue our discussion, I would request attendees to start putting across their questions if they have any. So dear participants, you can make use of the Q&A option, which is there in the Zoom control panel, and start putting across your questions. We will be more than happy to take them up today here. All right. So, Mr. Sanjeev, you just now touched upon very heavy words of the technology, I can say, like metaverse, right? So, I'm more interested in that now. So, we have been hearing a lot about metaverse these days, right? So, according to you, how will the world of HR look like in metaverse?
Well, I'm still learning this term, right? And so meta and metaverse are two different things that also I'm told. Now, see, once again, as I said, very early days, but however, I think it is about creating the entire, experience by integrating data and experience in a virtual world. It may be what I'm saying may be equivalent of VR today. However, I think if you're able to simulate a situation that an organization it's likely to go through, you know, let me try to make it a little simple as per my understanding. Um, pilots use a flight simulator. So while you are flying, if you hit a storm, what will you do? You're out of fuel. What will you do? I think given the organization's journey, at least technologies like Metaverse will be able to help us show what it is likely to be. Yep. Uh, I'm saying this with a lot of caution because it is still under development, if I may. I haven't seen too much of tools on Metaverse. There's a lot of theories, hypotheses being floated around, a lot of opinions being shared. Has it been put to use? Well, not in my knowledge as much. So therefore, I go back to say that I am learning, but I'm indeed keen to see what it is going to do. I'm sure there are some very exciting times ahead, and particularly for the people function. I mean, for HR as a function, I would believe if you're really able to simulate situations for the businesses, and I think our decisions, our support to the business is going to be much more meaningful. But once again, very early days, it's still to be tested.
Sure, sure. We all agree with that, Mr. Sanjeev. Yeah. All right. So also, Mr. Sanjeev, according to you, what new doors of opportunities AI and analytics have opened for the HR professionals, which otherwise would have remained unexplored?
Number one, this whole space of analytics. Trust me, couple of years back, decades ago rather, when I was actually dropped into this ocean of analytics, yeah, I thought I thought numbers and Excel is for the accountants, not for me. Trust me, and I'm not joking a bit. I really mean it what I went through, right? So this whole, I think it has created a very different domain within the function itself, where people who are, keen, who are keen to explore this field, uh, definitely has a very bright future, at least for the next coming years. More importantly, for a traditional HR practitioner, I think um, taking the support of technology is going to free us a lot of the mundane work that just to free us from a lot of the mundane work that we used to spend our time on, which means we have much more time left in our hand during the day because it's 24 hours for everybody, right? We have much more time in our hand, A, for our own development, to be able to invest that time in our own development, to be able to invest that time for any other uh, field of work or knowledge that we may want to pursue within the organization. We can do much more value add things, right? Our decisions, as I said, our decisions are would be much more meaningful because now it will be backed by a lot of data, and data doesn't lie at all, right? Data is not a hunch; it tells you the truth even if you don't like it. Right? So I think the entire people function across the world needs to be a little more open in accepting. I know the lot of acceptance of data and technology has happened in the field. Uh, it is going to actually go. I mean, if I have to go back to that example, if I don't need to go to the bank, why should I do? Similarly, if I really don't need to go back and manage paper, why should I do? Yeah. Why should I spend my time and energy on that? So I'm sure people will note this. A lot of people are a little afraid. People get a little scared. So what's going to happen to my job? Reskill, and that's the way to be. I don't want to scare anybody or anything, but I think it's a look. Technology is a partner. Technology is not our enemy. It is indeed a partner, and it is going to help us in our own purpose, journey, mission, whatever we call it for ourselves. If we resist, it is going to be the demon, because that is the reality of the world today.
Excellent, excellent, Mr. Sanjeev. I think you have put it in a very beautiful manner, how technology can help us these days. So thank you so much. And I think we will head towards our audience questions. But before that, I have one last question for you to conclude the discussion. So according to you, what are the benefits of HR technology?
It's the same way. I think the same thing that I'm repeating in every question is making our lives easy. Two very very simple things to understand. A, technology is making our lives easy. B, technology is making our decisions much better. What else would a professional want, you know, at the workspace? Yeah. Uh, the better our decisions, the better the more realistic our decisions are. I'm sure the value, the value that we would bring to the business would be immensely different than what we used to do when we were not adopting or not using a couple of those technologies. If our value increases, if the business is valuing us, do I have to say more? What more we can expect, right? And that is it.
All right. Yeah, Mr. Sanjeev. So I think you have put it in a brilliant way, like how we can make use of the HR technology today. So thank you again for such an insightful and knowledgeable session. And I'm sure that our audience have gathered a lot of information and details on this buzzing topic. So I would now like to move to our audience questions. I think we already have a couple of questions here. So one of our attendee would like to know which companies use a video with the answers to basic questions as a preliminary interview. Like what is stopping the organizations from doing this?
What is stopping the organizations from doing this? Maybe mindset, maybe some little investment that the organizations may need to do. It's not fair for me to answer which companies use the videos with answer, because I'm sure plenty are doing it, of which I don't know. Yeah, I for one we use for quite a few very critical interviews, etc. And all we do use.
All right. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Thank you, Sanjeev. I'll go to the next question. So we were just talking about the AI and big data and all of that, right? So one of our attendees would like to know, are there any risks of using AI in HR today?
The only risk that I foresee, okay, there are two risks. One is using AI for decision making is good, but but using AI to decide for us, I think that is what is not correct. That is a risk because understand every technology has its own limitation. AI is as good as the codes that have been fed into it. Yeah, AI may not be able to, within inverted commas, a lot of products claim that it does, may not, but still it may not be able to understand, evaluate the emotional and the human aspect of a person. So therefore, particularly recruitment decisions or people or life cycle decisions like promotions, etc., like job role changes, dependent completely on a report of technology may not be correct. I mean, an organization may follow what that particular report has suggested, but then let the owners of of that decision be on humans. Let a considerable thought go into while taking that decision. The second part of it, look, uh, it is AI does not take away or rather, we should not let the human angle, the human touch, the personal connect out of the people function because we are using AI. Onboarding, ground of it, legwork of it, let it be completely automated, no problem. However, there has to be at least some touch points between two human beings. Yeah, based on the organization's processes, right? It can be the reporting manager, it can be the HR function, it can be the buddies. A lot of organizations use buddies for the person to go back to. That job cannot be done by a bot. But otherwise, I think, as I said, technology is always a partner. Let's make technology our friend, not our master.
Certainly, Mr. Sanjeev. I think, yeah, it is always there. It's just up to us how do we utilize it. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Sanjeev. So I hope that answers the question. I'll go to our next attendee's question. So the question is, how can HR leaders fight back the challenges of implementing HR technology?
we have to make a business case of it. No business will actually agree to. Please understand, this is investment decision. It is an investment decision. Therefore, it needs to have the same rigmarole that any investment decision would need. So if I need, say for example, I need an HRMS, right? And if I say, okay, I would need the best in the world HRMS, I may not be able to afford it today. As simple as that, right? Therefore, if we are able to do our need analysis properly, if we are able to justify why this is needed and the potential benefit that we are going to get out of it, I am sure it may take some time, but the answer, we will get our answer. A lot of times I have seen myself and I have fallen prey to this, to go with a proposal and saying, I need it, I think this will be better. Who, when, what, why, how. That's what the business needs to see, right? Because they're the in any investment decision of a business, always the benefit comes and the priority comes. I think the main fight is there. It's not that our businesses doesn't want to give it to us. Probably not. I mean, honestly speaking, my quarter century in the profession so far, very less number of times I've come to this fear where it is more an emotional discussion. No, but why would HR need it? As much. More often than not, the question that I have come across is what it will do to us, and do you need it today? Do you need this today or other options available? Now, those are points that we need to be prepared with.
Sure, Mr. Sanjeev. Also, I think we have one last question for today, and I'm sure you have already answered this, but if you'd like to add something here, you can please feel free to. So the question is, nowadays we have a lot of focus on the people management, which I believe is a key role of the HR function. So can you please suggest some best tools that can be used to engage, develop, and retain employees in the organization?
Well, uh, once again, two parts to it. Engagement, motivation, retention, only technology cannot do. There has to be a proper intervention stroke. It has to be properly planned um, process of the organization. Having said that, I think there are I mean, see, it will be very unfair for me to name any tool as such, but there are plenty of tools available. Like, for example, uh, if say you want to, as an organization, if we want to say hone our training function or hone our entire learning function, right? So right from say understanding the training need, getting the training done, having the content available uh, uh, to be used at when the person needs to, and thereafter evaluating the thing. Go for a full-fledged learning management solution. I'm sure most of learning management solutions will help you do this, right? If you want to look at an organ and the if you want to have a complete support to the HR function, yeah, make people's lives easy, use more of employee self-service modules, and have touch points of technology everywhere. I think go for any HRMS type of solutions. Most of HRMS solutions does this. Now, how much is the organization's capacity to invest? How big is the organization? How much is the need of that HRMS in the organization? That will depend organization to organization. So whether you take the top end of the market or whether you take an HRMS which caters to say, organizations like either startups or say organizations like us, like MSMEs, that is your decision. If you want to only focus on recruitment and automate that as a function, by all means, plenty of recruitment solutions available once again, including video interviews, including shortlisting CVs, including integrating, a portal where the CV will come, and so on and so forth. It also helps, it also integrates with your social media if you wish. So there are plenty available. I'm not naming any products, unfair for me to do that. However, I think what is important is to get the why clear. When the why is clear, the what and the how is much, much easier. Organization A uses this, so we will also use this. That approach may not work.
Yeah. So I think it's more like one size doesn't fit all.
It does
sort of
not.
thing.
It does not.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev. I think our audience would love to hear more from you. So I think we have a couple of more questions queued up here.
Yes,
So our
it's still
next
different.
question is, as an aspiring HR professional, what HR tech skill should one have to excel in the field?
Sorry, I lost you. I lost you there.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, it was breaking a bit.
Okay, fine. I'll repeat the question. So one of our attendees would love to know, as an aspiring HR professional, what HR tech skills should one should have to excel in the field?
Well, first definitely is more than anything else Excel. That is a lifesaver. We like it or we don't. Uh, See, depends on how you want your career to move on, right? If you want to be mm, like an HRBP, yeah, uh, I think the in that particular case, understanding data, uh, knowing a little bit of you know analytics, yeah, trends, very simple trend analysis tools, uh, that should be able to help. I am refraining from saying what technology because it is changing every day. Trust me. Yep. However, the capacity to understand and interpret data, I think, is now coming up more as a life skill for any professional. It's HR or no HR. Yeah, that probably is key, and I think it is better for us to, I mean, and to be able to put in a little bit of our self development, energies towards that. Otherwise, now if you want to say, for example, excel in the L&D field, right? If you're able to understand how L&D as a function works, yeah, then what tool you pick up is important. And any tool that you pick up, there will be a shelf life of the tool, and any tool that you pick up, you have to learn that tool. Like, for example, I did SAP 10 years ago, does not mean I'm still an expert in SAP. No way. It's gone. Right? I just use the term SAP simply to give an example. Yeah. So once again, what tech tools you need to know is, I think that is agnostic, but I think the entire ability to be able to handle technology, the mindset of, okay, that today I'm doing it in this way, tomorrow I should be able to do it in that way is more important. And third important is to be able to understand data a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sanjeev. So I think that answers the question. So another question is, what are the HR tech trends that we can see in 2023, and what companies should do to keep up with it?
What are the tech trends that we can see in 2023? So what I told is that um, the things that are already creating a ruckus in the market are the virtual assistants, yeah, uh, AR, VR related technologies, AI definitely. I mean, AI enabled tools, mm, productivity management tools, adapting things like agile, yeah, lean is evergreen. Uh, Agile has come in as a feather on the cap. These are the primarily the tech trends. If I have to use some jargons, there are a lot of, so big data one, definitely metaverse coming up whenever it comes properly. Yeah, solutions based on cloud. I mean, how many HRMS systems you see today which is on a hosted premise? I'm sure there are very less. Most of it is cloud, and very very beneficial to have things on cloud, right? um, I'm not even going there, but then a lot of these technologies are now available even on your smartwatch. Yep, you can actually access quite a few of these technologies from your smartwatch. Mobile apps was already there, so now it has become wearable, if I may, right? So let's not focus on I need to know only X. Like at one point in time, it used to be SAFe, for example. If I had to talk about HR technology 10 years ago, SAP, PeopleSoft, yeah, a few of them. Maybe the what adrenaline used to be one. But today, naming the top four, top three will actually, I will not do justice to the rest, because there is a solution for anything that we want today. Now that is technology. Yeah, whatever organization needs, we have to assess. But yes, solutions are available for all parts of the HR function: recruitment, employee life cycle management, payroll compliance, talent management, which includes appraisals, which includes onboarding, which include recruitment, onboarding, you know, the entire L&D space. And then you have your fun at work, collaboration tools, and so on and so forth. Everything is available. If you want to see how your people are feeling every day in the morning or for 3 times a day, solutions are available. Find what does your organization or what would you want to specialize on. As I said, if you want to specialize on TM, focus on TM. Yeah, if you want to learn few of those technologies that are available, by all means do. But you learn one does not mean that you will spend the rest of your life over there, because the pace of development is so fast.
All right. Yeah. I hope that
I
answers
hope
the
I've not confused the question, the participants.
No, no, Mr. Sanjay. I think it was pretty clear. Thank you so much. So one last question for today. So one of our attendees would like to know any suggestions to onboarded people.
I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry. To
Yeah.
onboarded people. So if you have already onboarded people, then I would believe that the onboarding process is over in whichever way you did. After that, immediately comes your employee life cycle, right? So basically, how do I know my leave? How do I see my pay slips? How do I apply for leave? How do I communicate with my people? So on and so forth. There are solutions. There are standalone solutions. There are integrated solutions. I hope if that was the question.
Yeah, I think that was the perfect answer. But we it would have been great if we would have had a more elaborated question. But I think you have answered it very well, Mr. Sanjay. Thank you so much. So I think with this we are now coming to end of this session. But if there are any questions pending, or if you get any questions after we end the session, do not worry. You can always get in touch with us. I'll definitely give you a few resources on how you can reach out to us once we end this session. All right. But before that, once again, Mr. Sanjeev, thank you so much for this session. You have certainly shared a lot of valuable insights with us, and I'm sure it is very beneficial to all our attendees today on the topic how AI and big data is doing in HR today. So thank you so much again. And also, I would like to thank our attendees for joining the session and for making it successful. If you have any more questions, you can always reach out to us through our community, that is Grey Tribe, as you can already see on the screen. The URL is also given here. So to tell you a little bit about Grey Tribe, it is basically the knowledge sharing platform where you can be a part of it, post your questions and get your questions answered from your HR peers or even the experts like Mr. Sanjeev. All right. So also, you can always write back to us on the given mail ID that you can see on the screen. That is rakigautam@greatip.com. All right. So please feel free to reach out to us at any point of time for any queries related to our Parichay webinar sessions. So with this note, I'm going to end this session now. We'll see you in the next session soon with another interesting topic. Till then, have a great time. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Rashmi. Wonderful talking to you.
Same here.
Good luck, everybody. Thanks. Bye bye.